to the MadTrio podcast. This week we have the California Pariah, Jonathan Charny, James, the Fatman Stevens.
Hello.
Rob, the old guy.
You're listening to the Rob Charny Show.
That's right, I'm here.
Oh, joy. And Miss Oddassaty herself joins us. Melanie. Have an old guy moment.
Did you forget? It even has her name under her picture.
Yeah, that would help. I do a show that revolves reading and completely forgot how to read for that second. Uh-oh.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Have y'all ever gone to a museum, say like the Louvre, and seen like Adonis in a statue form and carved out of marble and said, I've always wanted one of those? Well, I've got something that's kind of like it. George Clooney's infamous Batman nipple suit is up for sale, and the starting bid is $40,000. So you may not get a famous statue that's world-renowned and worth quite a lot of money, but you can have a Batman suit with nipples.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's kind of cheap, actually. I'm thinking 40,000. I wonder how much it costs to make it.
Does
40,000.
Does that matter what it costs to make? Does that have any reference to it being worth $40,000 now?
Well, you would want to at least recoup costs.
For a 20-year-old.
I can't imagine they did that much with the movie.
I mean, it's a movie studio. Do they have to recoup costs? They seem to be able to throw away millions of dollars without even thinking.
True. That is true.
So, I want to know how much value the nipples add.
At least 30,000.
Yeah. That's like a VAT tax, a value added tax onto it. So you can get it with or without.
So I do wonder if, well, for the option, if they have to put pasties on it, it may be considered nudity.
Sure.
But see, if it was Batwoman, then that would have to be the case.
The sale of the costume from the marginalized 1997 Joel Schumacher Batman installation is part of the Heritage Hollywood and Entertainment Signature Auction, which will take place in July 22nd through 23rd. So if you want a particular nipply Batman suit, time is yours. And we have a special guest who popped out of the ethereal. He's our second special guest. It's Ryan.
We've just now broken a record.
Sorry, I was late. I had earlier today declared war on the flies in my apartment, and started to pull out artillery at this point. So if you see me randomly wandering my eyes around my room and then occasionally get up and hear like pops, that's me with my salt gun just going ham on flies.
Well, you are ghetto adjacent, so I just figured it was crackheads visiting your apartment.
Flies, same thing. I don't know what do you call them.
So
Flies.
We're going to go into a couple of really sad article things just to kind of get it out of the way.
Wait 1 second. I want to point out that we have 5 people on the show tonight. 5. We've never had 5. 5.
Rob can count.
Well, we have 4 people and the very special Melanie, who is our sponsor, Oddassaty. Make sure you go to Oddassaty.
Warn me if I have to drop that. Okay.
So we're gonna start off with a bang, then a whimper. So for the saddest news, the last surviving Band of Brothers member, Bradford Freeman, dies at 97 years old.
Not a movie, not one of the guys in the movie.
Yes.
One of the actual Band of Brothers.
Bradford Freeman, the last surviving member of Easy Company.
Easy Company.
Easy Company that was portrayed in the World War II series, The Band of Brothers, has passed away. Freeman died Sunday in Mississippi. I actually didn't know there were any surviving members. Well, there's not now, but 97th is a good age.
Shouldn't be laughing at that. John.
I want to say I had looked it up a couple of years back. The Band of Brothers, the miniseries, is one of those that I'll revisit every 3-4 years or so. Somebody will bring it up in conversation. I'm like, shit, I want to watch that again. And that always leads me down to the Wikipedia rabbit holes and whatnot. And the fact that any of them made it out of Battle of the Bulge and half the shit these guys went through is crazy, let alone get to anywhere near 90, 95, 97. That's a win.
I do want to recommend, if you guys want to see some inspiration for the Pacific and Band of Brothers, there's the Band of Brothers book. There's also a book by E.B. Sledge called that's on Okinawa and Peleliu with the Old Breed and Helmet for My Pillow. Hollywood legend James Caan has reportedly passed away.
James
Caan.
Caan, this fucking guy.
Caan.
James
James
Caan.
Caan.
I know.
Thank you.
I
dare you.
don't see an age for him.
82.
92.
82.
82.
Don't worry, John. Now that there's 5 of us, we're all going to let you know what.
Correcting me.
Yeah, also
Oh,
a win.
hell
I
yeah.
feel like that guy's been old my entire life. So
And Lloyd the bartender, Joel Turkel, has passed away at 94.
who?
The
That's what I was
bartender
thinking.
from everybody's favorite movie,
And that movie is
The Shining.
oh, that guy.
Oh,
But sir, you've always been here.
Yeah, but that's
what was his name?
Turkel? I think that's how you said
Turkel.
Well, you just said James Caan was Can. So,
Yeah,
right,
whatever the
so-
fuck,
it. I actually
we
did
can't-
that one on purpose.
I mean,
Um,
we can't trust your phonetic spelling at all.
have you ever been able to trust my pronunciation?
No.
It's
No.
It's half the fun.
Turkel. I'm assuming it's Turkel.
I feel like it's just part of the shtick now.
It is.
It's me. It's not a shtick. I just can't pronounce shit except for Christoph Waltz.
Yeah,
Everybody gets it.
that's the one you nail.
Every time.
Benedict
It's like,
Cumberbatch.
boom, it's magic.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Excellent. So, have any of you guys ever been to an air show?
I have always wanted to go. I live real close to March Air Force Base in Riverside, and they've got an air museum there, and they'll do air shows on occasion. But never had to go. Got to go to one.
Bay Area, we don't have to go anywhere. The Blue Angels just take over the Bay Area every summer.
Yeah,
Nice.
well,
Yeah.
there's always a week for the Blue Angels. Speaking of the Blue Angels, they just recently settled an issue of causing damage to a building of over $180,000.
What, Sonic Boom Blast or what?
Well, okay, so I mean, it does make your mind wonder how in the heck did they do $180,000 worth of damage to something, right? So apparently, one of the pilots that was called a sneak pass, where they maneuvered near a building. It was the building that was actually on the base. They were practicing that. They did this sneak pass about 50 feet off the ground, going about 700 miles an hour, and zipped a little too close to the building. And the next thing everybody knew, walls were falling down, plywood was coming down, windows broke in, drywall
shit.
cracked. Firefighters were called. People in the buildings complained of ringing in the ears and headaches for weeks afterwards. And,
I mean, I'm sure they thought a bomb went off.
that's exactly what some of them thought happened.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've been nearby. There's also the National Cemetery, which is right near the Air Force Base in Riverside. And every now and again you'll get some low pass or even a high pass with a good sonic boom around there. And I mean, you put that a couple 100 feet away from me, I'm assuming that's a bomb. Someone
It's
just
very
dropped
loud.
a mortar on me.
Yeah, so having been a fan of air shows for a long time, having dragged my children to many of them, we've been around these jets when they've done that, and I got to tell you, it's quite the experience. I can't imagine what that must have been like in that building to experience that. So, yeah,
I've had
Yeah,
a lot
that
of
must be
Sonic
nutty.
shows when I was a kid, but yeah, I haven't been around one in a long time, so
So
But-
what was that, Melanie? You got talked over.
good.
Oh, I was saying I would have guessed the windows, but walls? That's crazy.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
surprising.
yeah. Walls, the sheetrock was falling down. In the some of the lighting came flying down. I guess apparently it shook the building really well. And
Gosh.
Wow.
So I'm gonna
of course, it's an area that doesn't have the earthquake things that we have to go through here. So if it had been in California, building probably would have been fine.
Yeah.
That's just true. So I've got a listicle.
Oh, good.
So this is for you, Melanie. This is from CNBC.com. A self-made millionaire share shares her top 18 recession hits, and this is all I've been seeing in the news is we're in a great recession for a second time. Number 1, build a 12 to 24 month emergency fund. Thank you, Dave Ramsey.
Okay.
Number 2, minimize high interest debt. That's your credit card.
Okay. So wait. I have a question. We're in a recession, and we're going to be saving money and paying off debt.
Yeah, I
I already don't like your list, John.
of course.
Lists are always too little too late. This is stuff you should be doing regardless, so that when the recession comes, you're already prepared. You can't be doing
Exactly.
the recession.
See, I've been saying for a while now, Melanie, that the preppers, like the doomsday preppers who were doing it kind of for shits and giggles, have had about 3 or 4 times this last couple of years where they're like, I fucking told you so. Saw this coming, and here we are. Y'all thought it was crazy. Who's the crazy one now?
So,
Yeah, at
so-
some point they're going to be right.
So I got a question. The guy went to high school in Y2K who was buying swords because he figured the world was going to go back to like 1655. Where does he fit in that?
He's about 15 years away from his goal.
Well, I talked about early. Be prepared to borrow money. See
Be
recession.
prepared to borrow when you're not supposed to be adding debt.
Yeah. Keep your credit card accounts active. If I'm in a recession, I have no choice. If your mortgage is close to a term, renegotiate now. So far, I'm not liking this list.
Did you read this list beforehand?
No, that's half the fun.
Was this list published by a bank?
No.
Or something?
Well, it is CNBC, so it's probably a sponsor. So this list is brought to you
that
by.
answers it.
Give us all your money.
So this
That
list is brought
answers
to you
that
by
question.
Bank of America, taking your home since 2009. Let's see. Buy in bulk if you can afford it. Wait, you mean people don't buy in bulk?
Yeah, keep your Costco membership up.
Opt for
Yeah, do people
frozen
live on things
produce.
other than Kirkland brand things?
Yeah, yeah,
Buy
Right.
all the toilet paper.
that's right. Oh my God, we're back in the pandemic.
I swear to God, beginning of pandemic, my boss went out and met a guy in a parking lot to get a crate of toilet paper.
That's hilarious.
I've never seen a toilet paper deal go down like he was buying crack.
I have to say though, after the last couple of weeks, I'm going to see people hoarding toilet paper and tampons. I can't wait to see the amount of the what's next.
Ooh, and baby formula.
Oh, baby
And
formula.
formula. That's
Yeah.
right.
Consider, let's see, buy generic brands. Consider the cost of gas. The gas? Jeez.
Who the hell is sitting there just, who's not rich, just willy-nilly like, oh, I haven't paid attention to the price of gas in years.
Right? It's $6 a gallon. I'm considering, is that soda or is that breakfast or that lunch worth it? Build your emergency fund. The rest of this is kind of
Yeah, forget that list.
Read
I
Dave Ramsey.
I transport
Boo.
dead people, and I've been hitting them up for gas money.
Checking their pockets for
All right,
change.
what do y'all got on you? What do y'all got on you?
Yeah,
He's checking their clothes.
Time to pony up.
He's
shake it out a little bit, dude.
he's checking their pockets for change.
Hey, you're talking about this recession that everybody's talking about. So one of the signs that I was taught back in college about looking for things was the price of gold. And if the price of gold goes up, that means people are not as confident that our dollar system is going to be as strong as it should be. So you buy gold instead. It was one of those things. And what it has me really perplexed on this whole thing is that gold prices are going down. Just the opposite. So it's like, okay,
Well, okay.
up with that. I mean,
What about are things like Bitcoin going up? Like,
No.
I wonder if people have lost faith in gold as kind of a universal, banking medium versus, something like cryptocurrency.
Crypto.
well, you have been watching cryptocurrency, haven't you?
Oh,
You
no,
know
I
that
have not been
they're
watching.
they're blowing up. Crypto's having all kinds of problems now.
Oh, yeah.
Bitcoin's
the
at
bubbles,
half
the
its
bubbles
value.
popping.
Yeah, it's starting to the hard drives are finally starting to die. Like we've told everybody it's going to happen. Some
Yeah.
hard drive's going to die somewhere and all your crypto's gone.
So far we don't have any particular evidence. Not like we've all dug deep into this, that like in place of gold, some other standard currency, universal currency is going up at all, or
Yeah, baby formula.
Well,
worth its weight in gold at a certain point.
That's right.
so
See?
the biggest question is what James and I noticed in the last Great Recession was hair color. Are people showing their roots? Because that was when
Let me
James
see,
and
Melanie.
I've told the
Show me
story
your roots.
Natural, other than the rainbow I have in my hair.
Oh, all right.
because James and I lived in a fairly wealthy area. At one point, but it's what we noticed. Like every woman was blonde. Then the recession hit. Then all of a sudden you started seeing colors of the rainbow. So
Yeah.
hair color.
Well, she's from the Bay Area, so I'm assuming she was issued that hairstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's standard.
Yeah, if you live within
Everybody
35
has
miles
one.
of Hayden Ashbury, that's just standard operating procedure.
Every June for Pride, every
Yeah.
person issued their standard rainbow hair color. It's that's just how we do down here.
Right.
It's like our neck of the woods and guns. It comes with once you register.
Yeah, right. Okay, sir, you've been approved for your loan. Congratulations on your new home. Here's your SIG P223.
Yeah.
Enjoy. First box of ammo is on us.
Wow, I didn't get that. I got some crappy shotgun.
You get the Rock Island 1911.
Hey, watch it there. That's a good firearm.
You know what? I've been defending Rock Island arms because of the 1911 for some years now. Okay, so
So I wanted to talk
Right.
about something that I thought was a little serious. And I've read a number of stories about this. So I'm just going to read a couple of headlines, and I think I want to discuss this. This is from InsideTheMagic.net. It's scary. Guest finds tracking device on them during Disney trip. Let's see. So basically,
Talking about the tracking, the whatever
Yeah.
the
the Apple
Yeah.
tags.
an Apple AirTag was put on me to track my location Saturday night. I'm sharing what happened to me so you know what to look for. Woman finds Apple tracking tag hidden under her license plate, and that one's from Newsweek. I've seen videos where they were found in travel bags, the gas tanks of cars.
I mean, at what point do we all need to be like mafia bug sweeping our persons and vehicles to stay ahead of this kind of thing? That is
at Disneyland?
crazy.
This was at Disneyland?
Yeah, the one was at Disneyland. One was a TikTok video posted earlier, and a woman in California revealed she found an AirTag attached to her license plate tracking her whereabouts throughout the night. And the other one was in Disney. And there's a CNET article about it says Apple AirTags, how to protect yourself from being tracked, and it's not a listicle, so it's a little hard to find. But if you have an iPhone, apparently they do echo. So here's what they say. What's that?
Anyway. You failed the listicles anyway. You need to let Ron.
Harsh.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I agree.
So they say manually search yourself,
Keep it
try
as
to
my
narrow it
shift
down
stick.
try it and invest in a Bluetooth tracker. If you actually read, apparently if you get close to an AirTag with an iPhone, apparently it pings because Apple realized the amount of danger that these have had in the past.
That's good. So yeah, so we are turning into just bug sweeping our shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Jesus Christ.
I've read a couple of scary stories on Reddit about ex-husbands slipping these things in their their ex-wives, ex-girlfriends' cars. They don't know where they live, type of thing, and the next thing you know, the dude shows up with at the house, type of thing.
And I'm sure this is one of those things that was, somewhere in research development or getting near the advertising phase of like, hey, we're gonna launch this new product. Somebody had to bring to the attention of Apple, hey, listen, this could be used for nefarious purposes as well. I mean, the amount of just like, hey, shut the fuck up, don't ever bring that up again, that must have been discussed in a memo. Like, hey, listen, we're just counting on folks not to use it this way. I mean, it's like the Vicodin people. Hey, we're putting this out for pain management. It's not our fault that people abuse the shit out of it.
Yeah.
There's something I do want to add that I just read. Every AirTag has unique serial number and paired AirTags associated with an Apple ID. Apple can provide paired account details in response to subpoenas or valid requests from law enforcement.
Oh, because people can't get just, a fake Apple account.
But what is the purpose of these? Like,
Well, so it's so you can find your phone.
My keys.
You know, I mean, people have actually used it to get back stolen property, like their
Your
car. They'll have one in their
purse,
car.
your purse, your luggage if you're at the airport.
Yeah.
that-
Lowjacking your child.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
dogs,
no.
pets. You know,
that's
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of unbelievably practical reasons for just like, hey, where the hell are my keys?
The old guy has one on him right now.
I mean, he
so,
does have a tendency to wander away.
like, let's say I found one in my purse or something. How would I know who put it there? Can you track it back to who placed, like, who owns it?
The
Well, that's
article.
what we discussed is the serial numbers on there, but people
Yeah.
can make fake accounts.
I would immediately take that thing to your local police department, make them immediately aware of this. Like, hey, look, I don't know if it's in your purview to track this, but I need you, I want to report this at the very least. And then contact Apple, see if there's some way to track those things. Yeah, if anybody finds that shit,
So pretty
I
much.
mean, do some due diligence, and that's not one of those things you want to not be paranoid about.
So
you know.
pretty much what they said is they can you can via request or a subpoena, the law enforcement can actually
Yeah.
get the information from Apple. So basically, if you find an Apple AirTag that's not yours or not your significant others, for example, go to law enforcement. They're the best resource for this, unless your
They
ex
use
is a
their gas
cop.
tank. Who's gonna find it in their gas tank? That's
Behind the license plate, he said, even too. That's
Yeah.
what had me kind of tripping out. I'm like, behind the license plate, man. Like, come on.
Well, this one, in your gas tank, I was just quick reading. It was actually by the gas tank lid. You know, it was tucked behind the braces.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Hmm.
Yeah,
I've
and
never.
I get that, but you know, at least I'm kind of in there, and that's sort of technically publicly accessible. You know, but who the hell is ever going to look behind their license plate unless you change your tag? You know, your license plate.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
so
there's
Oh my gosh, that takes stalking to a whole new level. This is creepy. I
There's-
like it.
It's almost like organized crime level of stalking.
There's
Yeah.
there's been a number there's been another number of women I've read who found them in purses, which amazed me to begin with. Like, you know, I know friends of mine can't find anything on their purse. The fact they found an AirTag is amazing.
You know, I mean, but how easy would it be for somebody? You're at a bar. You don't even have to be a pickpocket with some slick hands. You just walk by and drop right into somebody's open bag.
Oh,
And a
100%.
woman's purse is a bottomless pit.
Shit, yeah, it is.
Bottomless pit. I have a tiny purse and I still can't ever find anything in it.
No, the amount of thing I can have 150 things in my hands and then tell my girlfriend, hey, could you hold this for a second? And she'll put it in her purse. Hey, put this in your purse. I can empty my hands and she would have one bag on. The amount of times I've asked her to pull out a full-size lamp. She looks at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, it's not outside of the realm of possibility, man.
like that.
That is a Mary Poppins. Every woman I know has a Mary Poppins bag.
It's true.
You know, they might have a spare, you know, small one for outings, you know, but everyone's got the luggage size.
They're issued to us at birth.
It's a TARDIS. It really is a TARDIS. It's
It's a
bigger on the
TARDIS, yeah.
inside.
That's where they got the plot for Doctor Who.
That'd be amazing if just some like fed up husband with like all of his wife's stuff in the purse. He's just like, you know what? I'm gonna satire this in a show.
It's got to be a TikTok video if there is one.
Yeah.
Good point. There you go. There's your chance. Do the man on the street thing with women and just walk up and say, hey, do you have a full-size lamp in that purse?
Yeah. Yeah.
You should do that, right?
No, what it is,
Like,
you should
know,
ask.
Like Jay Leno, the street thing
ma-
that he
the man
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
street, yeah.
jaywalking. Yeah.
jaywalking,
yeah.
Oh, we need to get that one cat that does the man on the Billy Eichert, Billy on the street, man.
What you ask is, what's the strangest thing you currently have in your purse?
Ooh, that's a good Audacity card.
Or the largest thing.
Better write that down.
The largest thing.
Yeah, mental note. I like this. Keep talking.
The largest thing could get awkward.
Exactly.
So
Well,
I got one for that. Sorry. So Democratic senators hit Biden for extraordinarily disappointing stance on on marijuana. A group of 6 progressive U.S. senators criticized Biden administration for not being a fan of the magic lettuce.
Well, he's fucking 900 years old. I mean, he still probably calls it dope because he doesn't know any better.
And you don't call it dope? Oh, okay.
These kids on their dope and listening to their Dan Fogelberg and playing their Pac-Man video games.
No, Pong.
That was a basketball reference.
Yeah.
No, I was saying that Biden's still probably trying to look for the nickels you put in the machines.
Oh, no doubt. Yo, if he tips you, he's tipping you 2 bits.
That's so
Don't
sad.
spend it all in one place.
Cannabis is such a useful, like, people who only think of cannabis as getting stoned are so ignorant on the plant. It's like the most miracle plant there is.
Okay.
You should be taking advantage of it because you can make clothes from it, and when you take all the fiber out of it, you're left with crude oil. It's like it's the plant that never stops giving. You can make 100 things out of it. It's incredible.
And 1 U.S. Constitution.
Damn it, thank you.
Yes. Yeah.
Melanie, I am unbelievably on board. I would like to add a small caveat. So I have been smoking pot since I was probably 14. I don't know. I stopped keeping track. Okay.
He just doesn't remember.
I absolutely agree. You
disavow
made the
all
points that
knowledge
I'm
of
always
this.
trying to let people know as far as the actual utility of the plant itself, as far as fiber, how long it was used for textiles and shipping ropes and things like that for
Hey, they
decades.
still make rope and textiles out of hemp.
Yeah, no,
So-
absolutely, and it's really strong fibers. You can grow them unbelievably close to each other per acreage, as opposed to things like lumber and trees, which have to be spaced apart.
Grows like 4 times faster.
Grows like 4 times faster. I will capitulate a little bit on. There are certain cancer patients who have benefits for increased appetite or a small amount of pain suppressant, but I would even say pain distraction more than suppressant. All those things are absolutely viable. CBD, I'm still a slight bit on the fence about. I've seen conflicting data on that. The people who will talk about it with the medical uses, though, can get a little into the snake oil weeds with it. Again, I've been smoking pot forever. I am a huge pot advocate, but I make no bones about it. I'm doing it because I'm getting stoned.
So
People who pretend that they're not doing it to get stoned kind of bug me.
So,
like, okay, sure, but don't say that, oh, this is going to help your cancer or your glaucoma or your stomach issues. Like, go see a doctor. There's a reason modern medicine exists. And if you want to, kind of take the edge off at the end of the night, it's like Frank Sinatra said, I'm for drink or prayer or whatever gets you through the goddamn night.
so
I agree, except I'm more of an advocate for the textile purposes, like the
With
other
you.
uses of the plant. And the U.S. economy is really missing out because most of it is imported from China and Canada.
Hell yeah.
And there's so much you can do with the plant, and we're not even like you can make plastic out of hemp.
Right.
And the level at which plastic has polluted everything, if you were to make it out of cannabis, that plastic wouldn't be so deadly, right? At least it would be plant-based plastic.
it'd be like that
And
scene in
certain
Up in Smoke.
Like Henry
Yeah,
Ford,
exactly. Up in Smoke.
Yeah.
It's a movie Up in Smoke.
Make a whole bumper.
And Henry Ford made an entire car out of cannabis plastic and materials, and it ran off of cannabis oil and cannabis gasoline. The entire car was a huge hemp car, and the oil industry put it out of business. They wouldn't allow them to produce it. They shut it down right away. So
Not to
we've
mention,
such a long time,
yeah,
and been shot down by the paper companies
Yep.
and the oil companies. I used to travel with Jack Hare. He was like
oh yeah,
known as the godfather of cannabis, and he didn't write a book. He actually traveled the U.S. and went to different public libraries and collected all the information that he could find on cannabis.
yeah,
Compiled it into one book called The Emperor Wears No Clothes.
and
I traveled with him for several years just before he died. selling that book with him and learning a lot about cannabis. And
Did
it makes
he?
me so sad that the medical gets all the attention.
Yeah, right.
Because we're using it for so much more than that.
So
Right,
there's
because I feel like it's being disingenuous to the argument. The argument should be, hey, this is fine for recreational use. You know, that's the hill I want to die on. You know, the medical one is being disingenuous, and then when the other side of the argument feels that disingenuousness,
and you bitch about me not being able to
Definitely
speak
not a
correctly.
word.
definitely not a word. Whatever word fits in that sentence.
Why don't you say insincere?
They realize, thank you. They realize they're being insincere, and they say, well, they're just lying now. Now it's just propaganda.
Point one to James.
The fact that we haven't, as a nation, realized or come to terms with the amount of propaganda that was used in the 20s and 30s to demonize the plant and its uses, industrial or otherwise, that's what we should look back on as an entire country. Be like, well, that was dumb. Like, obviously, that was all horse shit. You know, no one's jumping out of windows, but you still get some old people that really think that's what happens to these little young, you know, stoner kids out there smoking their doobie.
Wait a minute.
Ryan reminds me of the hair club.
Wait a minute here.
Ryan reminds me of the hair club for the hair club for men thing. Not only am I a user, I'm the president.
Well, I'm honest about why.
You're passionate too.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I feel like I'm different from most of the arguments I hear is I feel like I'm the only one being honest is why I'm doing this. I'm not trying to hide it or veil it with some horse shit about medical use.
The way you're going on this thing, you better get us a sponsor.
See,
come on, Snoop.
By the way, High Times, I want to say I'm the first person that said you need a cruise and you need to give us at least 3 tickets.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know,
met founders of High Times when I traveled with Jack.
That's
you know,
awesome.
I want to ask you about Jack. Did he ever try his own strain?
Oh yeah, of course. He did not grow it though. Everyone.
Sure. Oh no, I had a feeling he did, and it was just named after him. But it's one of the most famous strains of all time.
It was a very good friend of his that named it after him.
That's sweet.
For him, and he smoked it all the time. He never grew it. He had terrible green thumb. Everyone thinks he was like a really good botanist. I'm like, no, that's Ed Rosenthal, who's also a buddy of mine. But yeah, Jack smoked it all the time.
That's fantastic. I like knowing that.
He was a really good friend of Jack's that created it and named it after him.
That makes me feel good about it too. I like that.
I can't for the life of me remember his name. I know I met him at some point. I can't remember his name. It was so long ago, and I was stoned.
Yeah, fair enough. You know, ironically,
wait a minute.
With some of the best green thumbs out there, there was a whole sort of expose done some bunch of years back now about these women up in the Bay Area, maybe even a little farther north towards wine country, were making an incredible amount of money, albeit semi-legally at the time, growing weed because all they've done their entire lives, we're talking like geriatric age women here, all they've done their entire lives is grow their own gardens, you know, flowers and edible foods and things like that. And somebody at
they were
some
growing
point
edibles,
hit
all
these
right.
ladies to the jive of, hey, this weed plant, this cannabis plant is incredibly finicky and it takes a lot of care and kind of dedication, you know, depending on how you do it. And these ladies jumped on it like a knitting club and went ham for years, growing some of the best like Humboldt County weed that Southern California ever saw.
So do you know what knitting?
I saw something about that in a documentary.
So do you know, so your sewing circle would like? They would love to play Oddassaty. Hit that spot.
I'm not even in the right spot here. Wait a minute. Here we go.
That wasn't his ham.
Today's show is brought to you by Oddassaty. The game where dignity is overrated. Go to ODDASSITY.com. That's ODDASSITY.com. Pick up a card game from this website or selected stores. That's Oddassaty, the unforgettable party game for mischievous people.
And do me a favor, use MadTrio, all caps, all one word for 10% off your final order.
Just for the record, it's Oddassaty, not Oddassaty.
Just give up on correcting John's
Fucking
pronunciation.
kidding me.
No.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, God.
You missed the play on words that we do with it if you
I'm the one.
Logo is a donkey, so he is an odd ass, and that's why we spell it ODDASS and not AUDATIS.
Well, I'm the jackass who read the copyright.
Way
So
to make an ass of yourself. Oh, you won the game.
He's been saying it wrong.
No,
this whole time.
No, I usually say Oddassaty, but the spot's wrong, and I just haven't changed it.
Jesus Christ.
So we're going to talk about drugs.
Next time on the show to correct that, just so everybody knows.
So Mexico announces
he gets the spelling right.
That's true.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I
that's
do.
the important part.
Oh, spelling the. Oh, okay.
Mexico announces
Have
largest.
you gotten a text from your son, Rob? He does not spell things right.
Hey, you know, as long as
Mexico
he can spell, I don't care if he can pronounce.
Mexico announces
fantastic.
largest seizure in history of fentanyl, over half a ton of lethal drugs found in a warehouse.
God damn,
Mexico's
shit's
Army and National Guard announced Thursday what they call a historic seizure of over half a ton of fentanyl at a warehouse in the north city of. It's a Mexican city, and it's north of something.
Wait a minute. Did we talk about yeah, we talked about fentanyl last week.
It's been
Well,
in the.
I'm sure
it's-
that'll be a 0.5% dip in the overall sales.
So nearly 1,200 pounds found in a warehouse could produce millions of counterfeit pills, and fentanyl is usually offered. Fentanyl is also deadly because it pressed into pills made to look like Xanax, Adderall, and other drugs, and cut into things.
Glad you're talking about it though, because a friend of mine just lost his daughter to an overdose, and she was buying drugs to, I forget what it was, but she was buying drugs to study, prescription drugs, just to stay up and study. She had no idea that there was even fentanyl in it,
Yeah.
and she overdosed and died. It's such a dangerous drug. Like,
Yeah.
it's really something serious. And her father, my friend, had no idea, didn't even know it existed.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you guys are talking about it and mentioning it, because it starts with awareness.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the slightly older, I mean, I'm definitely beyond my drug experiment stage, so my generation even didn't have to worry about. We talk about those things like it was this late 60s free love kind of era, and then the AIDS epidemic happens and the new generation has this panic thing to sort of worry about. Whereas it's not just, hey, let's go out and have a good time. It's, oh no, we've got this thing out here, this fentanyl. And yeah, you guys talk about doing acid back in the day at the planetarium and shit. And now we have to worry about, like, if we're even going to be alive the next morning because we wanted to, go to a rave that night.
I did want to mention something that I talked about yesterday or last week, and I couldn't find it. So how much fentanyl will kill you? So it's measured in micrograms, by the way. A 700 micrograms, death is likely. So if you're going to talk about the heroin mixtures, I think it's 100,000 micrograms, or 1/10 a gram of cocaine is deadly, if I'm reading this correctly.
Wait, how much is a microgram?
That it doesn't tell you.
God damn it, I gotta look it up.
Yeah. But it's super. So 25 micrograms is non-fatal. 1,000 is almost certain you'll die.
Yeah, it's not
not
so
much.
incredibly potent. I mean, it's like we talked about last week. It's so deadly. It's unbelievable.
Okay, so 1 million micrograms is 1 gram. That's holy shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. And that's the scary part about this. And it's fairly easy to make. And these people are playing with fire, literally, making it and dealing with it and handling it and all this stuff. And it's scary. It's absolutely scary.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that they can be, I mean, you're talking about the smallest amount making an amazingly huge difference. How many of those things are just simply accident? I mean, obviously people start putting it with heroin or other drugs to make it more potent, to get their customers to come back. No drug dealer wants to kill off their customer base. That's sort of anti-productive. But you accidentally put a pinhead too much in your batch and that kills everybody.
Yep.
Like that's insane.
Well, remember we talked about the fact that you're getting these shade tree chemists making these drugs, and all it takes is a decimal point in the wrong spot, and that batch went from usable to killing you.
Yeah.
And then they put it in whatever, and like we said, they cut all kinds of drugs with it, and they don't know what they're what the dosage is that they're cutting with it, and it's just people die. It's just crazy.
So does anybody have any happier stories? Because if that's the case,
so
hold on. I want to do the transition. Would you tell them how they can keep up to date?
It keeps telling me these drops when I'm not in the right screen. Here we go.
That was
Do you want to keep up to date on the maddest of the mad at the MadTrio podcast? Check out our social media feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or go to themadtrio.com.
The other thing is we
I
just
have good news if you want to visit South Africa.
Well, hold on. We just started a Patreon account. It's patreon.com/MadTrio. If you want to donate a couple of bucks our way to help produce the show, do me a favor. Just go to patreon.com/TheMadTrio.
Or onlyfans.com/James.
Hey, we don't talk about that anymore.
Oh, my bad.
Oof,
Yeah.
that make sure I'll put that on my ban list. That's not something I want to see.
No, you guys have to pay me to put that on here.
It's all video of James running for Ryan.
This is a recession.
Exactly.
So if you want to visit South Africa, I have good news for you. There are considerably less great white sharks off the coast. Since 2017, scientists have noticed that the sharks off the coast of South Africa are extremely scarce.
Is there more than one?
Well, there used to be a lot of great whites all over there, but
if there's more than one, I'm good still.
Well, all you have to do, Ryan, is look for 2 orcas out there because they're hunting the sharks.
Fair enough, but that's where air jaws happened.
Well, I don't think you have to worry about that anymore. These orcas are known to be hunting these great whites, and they've actually quit. They've run out of great whites because they're not there anymore. So they're actually going and looking for makos and other ones. And what they're doing is they're hunting them for their livers.
Wow.
And they found out that there's 2 of them that are really doing this. And they even put trackers on some of these great whites, and they noticed that they're running from the orcas now.
Wow.
So they've learned.
It's like
one of the Apple trackers.
Yeah. They put them up their buttholes. The sharks don't notice.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Kind of crazy that they only found 2 of them, 2 orcas that are basically killing off all these great whites over there. I mean,
In just that particular area. It's got to be just in one.
Right up there with the Ghost in the Darkness.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. That's what it reminds me of.
Just scared of the orcas.
Yeah, huh? You definitely don't want to swim with orcas. I mean, it's better enough swimming with sharks. I don't want to swim with orcas.
Never a reported death of an orca killing a human in the wild.
That you know
in the wild. I was gonna say in
the wild.
In captivity, that's an entirely different story.
Yeah.
They're killing people because fuck you. That's why.
Yeah,
exactly. It's like Fatman in little coat is why.
Man,
yeah, they all saw Free Willy.
Jeez.
Yeah, but no, in the wild, there's never been a reported death of a killer whale and a human.
Okay, I feel a little better now.
Well, that's the problem, though.
They've been a lot of reports of them saving people.
That's cool.
Reported death. See, they don't leave any bodies.
Sure, fair enough.
I'm sorry, Steve. You saw me. You have to die now.
To quote the parrot from Aladdin, it's amazing what you can survive.
So, John, I have good news for you.
I'm screwed.
So we talked about no. This is a good thing. We talked about Rob Zombie's Munsters reboot, right?
Yes.
They wrapped filming this week. It's ready. It's ready to be edited. It'll only take a couple of years to edit it.
Yeah.
It won't be out anytime soon.
So,
and this is under I knew it was only a matter of time. So the EU is starting to require speeding tech for all new cars in Europe.
Like governors over there or what?
Well, so they're going to make all the car manufacturers over there start putting some kind of tech in their cars that pops up a message first saying you're speeding, and then if you continue speeding, actually starts backing off the gas pedal, and then it gets to a point where it starts applying the brakes, and pretty soon it just completely stops the cars from running.
Okay, so wait a minute now. Is it keeping track of speed limits that you're in? Like, I mean, are you fucked on the Autobahn if you go over 125?
Well, I assume since there's parts of the Autobahn that does not have speed limits on it, it would say, hey, you're fine.
Yeah, and there's parts of other countries, it's not just the Autobahn, that have like a how do they phrase it, like as conditions apply or as conditions dictate, essentially, like, hey, look, there's no speed limit, but if it's raining, don't be an asshole.
This wouldn't be the first time.
So don't be an asshole tech.
Basically,
the Nissan GTR.
Fast lane, asshole.
But when everything goes electronic, how easy is it going to be to just program that in?
Well, the first time I ran across this was the Nissan GTR allegedly wouldn't let you access full speed unless you had a designated track. And that was a track that, you know, once you were there, then you were able to unlock the high end of the car.
Hey, my Corvette lets me go as fast as my foot will hit.
You know what I'm saying?
Because it's made in Mexico. That's why.
Well, you know what's going to happen?
No, my Corvette's made in Kentucky.
Yeah, boy.
Kentucky, Mexico?
No, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
People are going to have electric cars and these things, and you know, the self-driving cars are going to be more prevalent. You know, I feel like we are going to see the future at some point. There's going to be a big uptake in like collector cars of people just like, hey, I've got an internal combustion in the garage that I take out on the weekends and you know, hit some corners in. Because, you know, fuck the man. I don't know. That's the only excuse I need.
I'll be honest. I've been wanting a self-driving car since I got a job. I've been waiting for the day that I can just basically sleep in my car and a car show says, John, wake up. You're at work.
No doubt.
That's the danger for you, John. If you got a car that was semi-autonomous, you'd be sound asleep behind the wheel. You'd be one of those guys that, you know.
That's
going
why
down the freeway.
A self-driving car doesn't really matter.
See.
Yeah, I see. Ever since I saw Time Cop, that was me.
See, that's why I don't have a Tesla. It's not because I'm broke. It's because I don't want a self-driving car.
There was a guy in the Bay Area in a Tesla who was in the back seat of his car, letting his car self-drive him home, and he got pulled over for being asleep behind the wheel. Well, not even the wheel. He was in the back seat. Like, they just saw this car going down the road with nobody in it because they didn't see him in the back seat. And so the cop had to get in front of it and slow down so that the car would like slow down and pull it over. And the guy got a ticket or arrested or whatever, and he was interviewed and he said, that's cool, I'm just gonna go do it again. Like
that man is a hero. That man is a hero, a patriot, a legend, and a gentleman. I wish nothing but good things for that man.
I mean, if he was drunk, that's a good reason to do it. You know, like at least he wasn't drunk driving.
No, that's a hero right there.
See, he wasn't driving at all.
The Japanese predicted this in the year 2000 with the X-Driver anime. That's all from the anime.
Yeah, I mean, because really, like, I mean, whether he meant to or not, the point that makes is, I mean, like, hey, man, you're going to put these out. This is what's going to happen, and you can't fault me for it.
He's not the only one. There's been several news stories in the Bay Area of people doing that. He was just the only one who blatantly said, I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I hope he took it to court.
Yeah, free people don't ask permission, guy. I'm with you.
Did you guys see the commercial of the Republican running for Arizona's 4th congressional district? His name's Jerome Davison. And oh my God, you guys have to look it up. This is insane. He is an African-American man, which makes it really interesting. And it shows like several KKK members stepping onto his property, and he talks about his right to defend himself against the KKK with the AR-15, and he refers to the KKK as the Democrats.
Right on, dude.
Can you imagine what bug is going to crawl up the KKK's ass with it? Like, Democrats?
Right.
So
I thought it was really distasteful after what just happened on 4th of July. Like, you're going to come out with that ad this week right after that? Like, come on, dude. Oh my God.
So I actually have, if you give me a second, this is what he says. He said, Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense. Davidson's hearing in a 30-second video, no one could possibly need all 30 rounds, but when those rifles, the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need the semi-automatic in all 30 rounds.
Wait, what's the current what's top of the line? We still at like M60 machine gun for like military use, small arms.
There's so many out there now, it's hard to keep track.
I mean, yeah, but barring like the Mark 19 automatic grenade launcher, I'll take an M60. That's fine with me.
Sure, that's fine.
The guy reminds me of Keith David.
Mounted top of my roof.
Armored personnel.
I'll keep the ammo locked up. I'm not a dick.
That's debatable.
Gotta wait for the price of ammo to come down.
I just watched a video of an ex-Marine, or retired Marine, who also used to teach gun safety classes, saying that he thinks there should be legislature that says you should have to take reoccurring classes, like annual classes for like an 8-hour course on gun safety. You should have to go to a gun range and show your proficiency with a gun, and you should have to safely store and maintain your gun before you should be issued a firearm. And I like that.
So I'll tell you.
See, that's the problem. He's obviously a Marine, because Marines are so dumb. You got to keep teaching them the same thing.
Well, I'll tell you what. I agree in principle. However, what it becomes is like, look, I feel like everybody should go to gun ranges and really work on their proficiency and make sure they know how to clear any firearm they come in contact with, and rules of gun safety. All of that is incredibly paramount to me. But then when you're talking about letting the government regulate what classes are good enough, or what the particular proficiency is, now you can get arbitrary, and the regulations for it could be just arbitrarily applied. These classes are not accredited, or things like that. I still feel like everybody should do that. Any responsible gun owner I know definitely has done it from time to time. Maybe not annually. Some people stash it in their
and his point was that the Marines have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Marines
work
do
that,
I gave you the reason. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Marines work for the government at that point. I think that from the actual lawyer standpoint is liability reasons. Hey, we're gonna make sure you're proficient, so we don't have more casualties from friendly fire than something else. But yeah, that's their prerogative to have that. And if you want to get a concealed carry in any state in the union, you're gonna go to have some kind of proficiency. And you've got particular firearms that are listed on your concealed carry as like, hey, here's the ones we tested you on.
So you know what the proficiency test is in most CCW classes? If you're smart enough not to be like one of my favorite RSOs and point the gun at your head.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude, even hearing that story gave me anxiety, bro.
I
in there.
Yeah, range safety officer was trying to clear a particular malfunction in a revolver.
A revolver.
Yep, 357.
Yeah, and turns the barrel to his face to like look down and be like, "What's the problem here?"
Yeah, and his finger was in the trigger well. That was the best part. That was the clincher. Was, hey, what's wrong?
And he was teaching gun safety?
He was a range safety officer. Basically, his job, if there's anybody sweeping somebody's firearm, anything that's not safe, basically make sure everything's above board.
Yeah.
And
But,
he broke rule number 1 and 2,
Yeah.
3, 4, 5.
Well, at least he didn't break, his face with a bullet.
I've taken a lot of people to a gun range for the first time. The first 20 minutes is like, okay, here's an unloaded firearm. This is how this thing works. Here's how it works again. This is how to not kill me or yourself. The second you don't respect this, it kills something. The preamble that I give to now here's bullets, is extensive. maybe out of paranoia for myself, self-preservation, but also part of what I'm trying to convey is like, hey, look, nobody here at this place is like goofing off. Everybody here takes this more seriously than you think we might.
Everyone should have to start with a BB gun.
I did shit.
Me,
Check
right?
that out.
I teach trigger. I want kids to be taught trigger discipline on water pistols when they're kid, playing in the front yard. Like, hey man, I want to see that finger high on the slide, bro.
No, I started on an NES trying to kill the dog in Duck Hunt.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much everybody did.
Yeah. Time Crisis at the arcade.
We're
With
wrapping.
the dog laughing at you. Oh
Yeah,
man,
smug bastard.
So
he
we're
was the worst.
we're coming close up to the end of the show, but I have a guessing game for everybody to try. What is the average
7.
monthly car payment of people in the United States?
7.
350.
Old guy?
700.
375.
It's
700 a month.
712.
712. See, I was close.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
God.
Guess it's to the old police auction for Ryan.
Go to
Hey,
Hertz.
can I get this drug dealer's, shitty Crown Vic?
Hey, at least that Crown Vic will last forever. There's parts enough.
Yeah, no shit.
Just go to your crackhead neighbor who has one and steal what's, The average monthly car payment in May hit an incredible $712, according to Moody's Analytics, thanks to inflation, inventory shortage, and increased demand.
Shenanigans. I call
Hey,
shenanigans.
It's absolutely crazy out there. Go look at a new pickup truck and what they're getting for them now. It's a mind blower. I was at my local GMC dealer not too long ago looking at the the 1500 Sierras out there, and they're the bottom of the line 2-wheel drive junker, brand new, is $50,000 to $60,000, and then go up from there.
God.
Oh, it's outrageous! It is just
Wow.
incredible what they're getting.
My Baja.
Yeah. And that's that's the other thing. Used cars are still going for incredible money because the supply and demand situation. There's too much demand and not enough supply, and so if you want a car now, you're going to pay for it one way or the other. Used, new, doesn't matter.
Check out the way to take a look at this is take a look at Facebook Marketplace under cars. You can see the scam because any car for $1,000 is a scam. But what you see rusted out old Jeeps going for $35,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty wild out there, I'll tell you.
I have the Subaru Baja. It's like the truck that Subaru made,
Right.
and they discontinued it. And so I get asked by random strangers all the time if I want to sell it. So maybe it's a good time to sell it.
If you're not using it all the time, it would be a good time. But the
I'm
problem
not.
is,
We just bought a new engine on it.
oh no, yeah. No.
It's funny you say that.
See, the other problem is you want to replace it, then you're going to pay too much money anyway. So it'd have to be something you weren't using.
No, we have 3 cars, so it sits. But we're
Baby's
just
not driving yet.
emotionally attached to it because it's such an awesome car. I don't want to get rid of it.
Dude, I've known a lot of people had Subarus. Every one of them's like, dude, this thing is bulletproof.
Uh-huh.
A friend of mine has a Ford Maverick, and somebody walked up to her and told they'd pay like $20,000 over market.
Good grief.
And she was asking, should I sell it? And everybody's like,
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
That's a free $20,000. I mean,
Yeah, it's pretty crazy out there.
I'm waiting for some.
I didn't get a listicle from you.
I know, John. I was going to let John do it today. He screwed that listicle up really really bad. So we'll have to do one next week.
No more giving it to John. This
Nah,
is
yeah.
What I was
I'm
doing.
hanging my head. Can you see
Can we
me?
do a listicle of Charney's top 10 mispronunciations?
Yes.
I don't. I don't think the old guy wants to sit through 260 episodes of Real Flicks Reviews and 154 episodes of Mad Trio podcast.
Yeah, we get to we'll say we get to like 10 Patreon subscribers and we'll dig through them.
I think Ryan, if we get 10 Patreon subscribers, you're gonna have to come up here and help them. I know the old guy. That's not gonna happen unless there's a lot more than that.
Yeah.
You know what? How about if somebody buys him 1,000 rounds of his ammunition of choice?
Which is what currently?
I have too many favorites.
Wait, didn't they just come out with some weird laws around buying ammo? You should go to Oregon.
God damn, they're always coming out with weird laws with ammo.
Well,
and what am I going to do in Oregon?
Buy
You
weed.
You can get the ammo without the weird laws.
Oh yeah.
In California.
Well, shit.
Really
Anything
California
outside of California.
Yeah, the problem with California is you just have to be in the system. If you are, it's a pain in the ass, but it's not the end of the world. The biggest problem that it did is it stopped online sales of ammunition.
Yeah.
Which I as much shooting as I was doing at one time, I was getting a lot of ammo, but that way, and it was the best way to get the best deal. But can't do that anymore.
So do you know what's not a pain in the ass? Playing Oddassaty. ODDASSITY.com. Use MadTrio all caps for 10% off your final order. Make sure you go to themadtrio.com to catch up what we're up to, along with Facebook and all other social media platforms. Go to patreon.com/themadtrio to drop us a couple of bucks. And as always, thank you for listening.
Goodbye.